This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
First Class Metals has announced a proposed £2.18 million strategic investment by the 79th Group Limited. The investment, conditional on shareholder approval, will take place in two stages, ultimately giving 79th Group a 51.2% stake in FCM on completion of Phase 2. Well, joining us now is CEO of First Class, Mark Fairbairn. Mark, how are you doing? Been a little while since we spoke last time.
Yes, it has, Mark. I'm losing my voice. Sorry. I'm recovering from a rather bad bout of cold, and also it's been non-stop on phone calls and what have you, as I'm sure you can imagine. This deal has it's taken a lot of effort from James and myself and Siddharth to get over the line, but I have to say we wouldn't have made it without the willingness of 79th Group and the support of Novum and OBH. So that's all the credits out of the way. So let's talk about the deal.
Yeah, okay. So let's talk about the deal. It's in two stages, as you say. So after stage two, effectively, 79th Group will have the controlling stake, if you like, in First Class, and it includes the capitalisation of a £500,000 loan previously provided by the investor here. So what's the context of this deal? How's it come about? What's the interest that 79th Group have in effectively taking a controlling stake in all of FCM's projects? Because, of course, you did a deal, didn't you, earlier in the year on McKellar and Enable?
The discussions with 79th started at the beginning of the year, and that, yes, initially culminated in them purchasing McKellar and Enable. And through the course of the deal, they really liked the way we ran the company, James and I, the way we were exploring, but they could see that we were cash-strapped, and that was partly, the markets weren't the best, but also because of the headroom. So we were always intending to do a prospectus in order that we could increase the headroom, so we could do a significant fundraise. And during that process and the continued talks with 79th, that's where they came in and said, look, we can fund you. Let's see how the synergies go and merge our abilities with us being the exploration side of things and then being the funder. So I feel, yes, I know people are going to castigate us for the dilution, but in the current markets, as I said, we could have gone out to the market. In fact, we made some inquiries about going out to the market, and we would have got crippled at the discount and possibly not have raised as much as we're raising with this. I don't know how we would have fared currently with a prospectus, but despite the dilution of shareholders, it basically means we've got funding going forward. And for 2025, for the first time, really, we will have a fully funded exploration program with the backing of somebody who can further fund it. If and when we raise more money, I don't know what the next step up from a cornerstone investor is, maybe two cornerstones. We've got 51% already. So it's, again, we will be marked on results. 59th has assured James and myself that things won't change going forward, that they want us to carry on doing what they're doing, but they want to support us in order that everyone succeeds.
Well, I know, you mentioned that shareholders might be disappointed with dilution, but the other option would be to go to the market and effectively, as we've seen that pretty much throughout the whole course of this year, mining companies here doing a lot of pretty significant discounted placings there. It's been a pretty tough year for the juniors, but I think there are some green shoots coming down the horizon. So you've got this now sort of funding secured, and I understand that 79th Group are they have their expertise is more in asset management and on the mining side. So is it going to be that they sort of act at the corporate level and the team in FCM, because there's some board changes as well, focused more on the ground and executing, a pretty well thought through exploration plan?
Well, David will become non-executive chairman and effectively lead the board in that regard. And James remains as executive director, so he'll be involved in the day-to-day running. I'm the CEO, and in charge of, shall we say, the company, as well as the exploration side of things. So I think there's a lot of synergy there. I mean, Dave brings a lot to the table with his ability to raise funds, his reputation, international reputation, as you say, asset management. And I mean, one of their sort of catchphrases, we do it better, we get in early, and we make money for the people who are involved with us. So they've seen this opportunity with First Class, somebody who, yes, was cash strapped, but yes, had great assets, had great management team, and therefore has everything that's needed in order to value add for the stakeholders. But we were just lacking the funds to do it.
Okay. And of course, there are warrants as well that are exercisable. You've got 3-year and 10-year warrants there from 79th Group. So that, if the share price performs, then of course, then that does help funding for a longer term.
Yeah. Sorry to correct you, Mark, but it's 3 years and 5 years, 5p and 10p.
Oh yeah, I read 10p. Sorry, I'll ask that question again. I thought 10 years was a long time. Anyway, yeah. And of course, 79th have the warrants as well. So you've got 3-year and 5-year warrants there at different share price levels. So if the company performs and we have a better market environment and you have some success, hopefully, in the field, then those warrants will help fund continuing work at the company.
Absolutely. I mean, it comes back to what I just said about we'll be marked on success, on results. So we get the share price up over 5p. 79th will be incentivated to exercise their warrants, which brings enough money into the company for another exploration season. So, we need to perform. But then again, everyone who's on a list in a listed company needs to perform in order to keep the shareholders happy. Otherwise, there's an exodus. And I think it was, I won't say predictable because that sounds like I'm being a bit of a smarty, but I think it was an expected response today. First thing, the share price, there was virtually no trades. Then it slowly went down. And then it's come back up. And I think it's only 2% below what it closed at yesterday. So once the initial news went out, people thought, oh, hold on, this is a big dilution at a discount. But then I think as it sunk in with the serious investors, they realized, hold on, these people are now funded. They're going somewhere. They're not going to have to go out with the begging bowl every 3 months like we were before.
Sure. Okay. And there's a couple of regulatory things to get through before this can go through. So what does the timeline look like? I know you've got to do a prospectus. I know these things can go back and forth quite a few times, but when you're hoping to sort of close that prospectus and effectively put it to the shareholder vote?
Well, we have to hold a general meeting and we have to give 3 weeks notice of that. So that's the first yardstick, and what with and of course we have to get the prospectus approved, and that's in for its second reading. There seems to be no major hurdles at the moment, so we would anticipate that the GM would be probably earliest late January, more likely early February. That will be the end of stage 1.
Right. Okay. Good. And then you move into stage 2. So, and what are the plans? I mean, I guess you'd be working on plans with 79th Group. Well, any time from now, going through into the Q1 of next year, on plans to get active on the ground and really make the most of this fresh investment to get the best sort of return for the money. Absolutely, yes. News flow is what we want. We want it as first class, but certainly for 79th to maintain the market interest, they will want the news flow. So yes, there's been a lot of discussion already about how we can start generating that news flow and hit the ground running, so to speak. Okay, can you hint at that now? Or is that something we'll have to wait for the new year to hear, the sort of the potential planned activities?
I think James is planning his end of year shareholder letter like he did last year. So in a non-regulatory sense, he will be able to allude to what we might be doing.
Okay, good. Well, thank you, Mark. I thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing how you go through 2025. It's good to see you've got that funding. As I say, it's difficult in these times, but that does fund you, as you say, throughout the whole course of 2025. You're not going back to the market every 3 months. So, yeah, looking forward to following those plans and how things go on the ground. But for now, I wish you a happy Christmas, and we'll look forward to speaking in the new year.
Likewise to you, Mark. Thank you very much.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programmes at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.